continue to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their gilt rings. Right, the bouncer's gilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
Andrew McCart, IFL TV. Weigh-in is over. It's almost time. It's showdown. Mr. Ben Shalom. I mean, we love the. The excitement is through the roof right now because both of them, the polar opposites in terms of personality, the way they approach the game, and that is just the recipe for a great fight. I'm buzzing. I'm guessing you must be buzzing as well.
Yeah, the teams know each other so well now. The first press conference was October, November last year. But the rivalry and the intensity, it's funny. The banter's good because everyone's been around. We've had rescheduled dates as well. There's been a lot of press conferences. We've seen these two together that much. They still hate each other. They're still convinced, both of them, that they're the better fighter. And when you see Chris and Liam come in like that and look so good, much better, definitely on Chris's side this time in terms of how comfortably he's made the weight and how good he looks. It's just excitement, and the promotion this week has been really, really, really good, and to see like thousands of people that are weighing in Manchester for two fighters that aren't from Manchester shows the scale of this event, and the undercards in one of the best we've ever put on. I just can't wait for Saturday night. These are the nights that's just amazing to be part of, even just as a fan. If you can be there on Saturday, or if you have a ticket on Saturday, it's going to be special. We know that from January, but it's going to be bigger this time.
Well, you mentioned the undercard, and you mentioned as well that you've had 2 months off. You haven't put a show on for 2 whole months, and if you're going to put a show on, you're going to have to, and from that long layoff, you're going to have to do it right. And this is a great undercard. You've got Dave Allen and Fraser Clark. They're friends, but I'm sure they'll be enemies when they get in that ring. You've got Adam Azim, one of the best prospects. I don't know if he's still a prospect in a tough fight. You've got Lauren Perez. You've got Michaela Meyer. It's just an absolutely fantastic. Marku and Dylan Moran. That's going to be a tasty fight as well. You've got the British and Commonwealth lands with Mark Heffernan. I'm doing your job for you here, and Jack Cullen. So it's up and down the card. It's from the start to the very, very finish. It's going to be a great card. So I mean, again, just put in your own words, break it down for me.
If you're a real boxing fan, you want to watch this from 5 o'clock. Every single fight. We took 2 months off, I think, consciously. We've signed a lot of fighters over the past 18 months. And it was like, well, summer's always quiet. Let's take stock. Our fighters are now getting to a more exciting stage in their career. Let's really, really take stock and make sure that we put on the best shows we possibly can for ourselves, for the fans. This is such a ridiculous card, almost too good. We don't have to do it like this, but it's going to be unbelievable. And what a night for all the fighters! Like so many fighters in proper fights and in really important fights for their career. There's so many that could be standout fights on the night, whether the heavyweight fight, whether Adam Azim becoming a superstar, whether Florian Marku, Dylan Moran, because that's already there. The British title, which has sold so many tickets in Manchester, particularly for Manchester, is such a big fight, that one. Lauren Price and Michaela Meyer. Lauren in a tough fight as well, and Michaela Meyer looking to get the fight against Tasha Jonas. It goes on and on, and really, really just excited now that we're here and all the fighters are fit. No injuries throughout the card, which is unusual, and I'm ready to go.
I do want to go back to Smith and Eubank. I mean, I seen Joe McNally throw the towel over to Bomac, and then Bomac threw it right at your face, and he said, "My bad." He probably thought you were part of Smith's team there because you had the same colour tracksuit top on. But yeah, just talk to me about what happened up there.
Yeah, look, there's been so much talk as to whether Chris is going to bring a towel or not. I think it's a bit ridiculous, as if I think it would be stupid for any fighter not to come with a towel, and obviously I think Paul's thrown it at Bromac to say, "Here you go." Yeah. And look, there's a lot on the line for both teams, and there's a lot of banter. It's goodwill, but ultimately, there's desperation this time from both sides to win. There wasn't that, I don't feel, the first time. Maybe from Beefy's, but didn't feel it from Eubanks. I think when you go through your career and you make millions without necessarily fighting the best fighters, that can only lead to complacency. And I think that's what happened with Chris's career a lot of the time. And he was getting away with it. He wasn't training properly, he wasn't doing anything. He was talking the talk and selling pay-per-views because he's that character. But was he really pushing himself to be the best version or the best fighter that he can be? 100% he wasn't. And then when he got Liam Smith, I think he completely underestimated that Liam Smith's a world-class fighter and is just going to pick you apart if you're not prepared. And that's the difference, and that's what everyone's seen this time. Anyone that's worked with Chris Eubank Jr. has never seen this level of humility in preparation, doing everything that's needed, leaving no stone unturned, working really hard, training really hard, conditioning, nutritionists. It's unheard of for Chris. So he will not have any excuses this time. It's a pressure fight for him. Everyone talks about how he's avoided fights sometimes throughout his career, but this one is the hardest fight. I think there were a lot easier options than taking the rematch. Most people wouldn't want to get in the ring in the same place against the same opponent that was the first guy to knock you out a few months later or 6 or 7 months later. He deserves a lot of credit, but both fighters are supremely confident. I think we're going to see the fight that we thought we'd see the first time, and it's going to go longer, and it's going to be special.
I'm looking forward to it. But first, I do want to cast your mind back to yesterday. Obviously, I asked about the VADA testing for this fight. You said it was confidential, but in an interview with, I can't remember who it was, they said basically Joe Mack came out and said that there wasn't any VADA testing. Now, I can understand where Team Smith are coming from in terms of Eubank went out to Vegas for 6 weeks. Obviously, UCAD aren't out there. And obviously, when he comes back to the UK, that's when he starts getting his testing. Obviously, VADA would have been or any additional testing would have been great out there. But again,
it's a misconception. People don't know. I've spoken to Joe since. I get on with Joe. It is confidential because I signed a contract to say that. That's all that is. But both fighters have been tested multiple times. We did Calm Brook, and UCAD were testing in the Canaries in America. They know how to test. It's not like you go abroad and you just go missing and you don't get tested as a British licensed fighter. We had the trust and confidence from them that both fighters would be tested multiple times up until the event, and both fighters have been. So to clear that up. And for me, the focus for the sport and this whole drug problem, which there isn't here, should be a uniform body and should be investing. If we think UCAD's under-resourced, or we think that, then invest. They're the ones that can ban fighters. They're the ones that have jurisdiction. We've seen the chaos that happens if you have different drug testing agencies and no one really knows when it's going to come out, how it's going to come out. It's not something for the promoter to be in charge with when things are released or how people are banned. And so I think the focus going forward should be focusing on a uniform body, not running away from it and having different bodies. I think that's crazy, and that's what's caused the car crash of who punishes who, how people are punished. But yeah, both fighters are, as I say, been tested multiple times. We should be celebrating an event like this. Both guys deserve a lot of credit, been professionals a long time, putting everything on the line for our entertainment, and it's a massive night for British boxing.
That being said, do you think maybe, like I said to you yesterday, it's fun when the promoters go at it and all these networks go at it and stuff, but do you think it's time for maybe all the promoters, networks, governing bodies, whatever it may be, the commissions, just to all get down around a big round table and discuss this properly? Because I know that's easy for me to say looking from the outside in, but is that the only way to get this done, is to get everyone in a room together and discuss this and figure out how to sort this issue out?
It's not just this issue, but this is the most serious. But yeah, I think I've always said, yes, it's entertaining, and it's a vicious cycle. You on the clickbait, everyone's. I get why it happens, but ultimately for the sport, it's just chaos because nothing ever gets done. Everyone knows the problems, whether it's judging, whether it's regulation, whether it's doping, whether it's the big fights being made, whether it's different jurisdictions, whatever it is. It is chaos, and it comes if everyone's just going to battle with each other constantly. I get it's competitive, I get this competition, but if we're literally going to be at each other, then we got this fight on because Queensbury moved off this date for us, which allowed us to do Smith Eubank and allowed them to do Joy Sang on the 23rd, and British boxing gets 2 massive nights. If there's no communication or no talking, and it's just this guy's this and this guy's that and he's a this and he's a that, then I don't believe that's in the interest of the sport. If you're a boxing fan, but what do I know?
Ben, listen, I'm absolutely buzzing for tomorrow night. It's going to be an absolutely great event. First fight, if the first fight in the event has got anything to go by, this is going to be an even better night. But Ben, as always, pleasure, my man. I know, listen, it will be a good night. I know you're putting your pretty hands up there, but it will be a good night. I'm looking forward to it. And am I the last one? I think you've got one more to do, and then you can go and relax and get some food.
Yeah, can't wait.
Ben, thanks very much, mate. Cheers, bud.
You to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,